I'm Hal Ottaway with a Wichita Postcard Club, and it's time for another Postcard of the Week. This week we have something very special. We have a Postcard Club meeting coming up on May 1st, this Saturday. And today I want to introduce you to my friend, Brian Lunn, who lives in Keyworth, England. That's just a little bit out of Nottingham. And you know about Nottingham? Well, Brian was going to tell us all about that too, but that's the home of Robin Hood. In any case, we're happy to have you here today. I first met Brian back in the mid-1990s, I think it was. I was attending a show, or over there they call them postcard fairs. I was attending a fair in downtown London, and walked in this room full of postcard dealers, everyone all in their nice displays and everything, and they do a lot of displays. The dealers do, all behind them, and it's just smashing, just great to go in and see all of these people. And several people had recognized me from my Rick Gary postcards. They said, well, I knew who you were. So that was fun. And walking up to Brian and his wife, Mary, there in London, it was great. It's like we had known each other for a long time. We had communicated back and forth with snail mail way back before computers. But in any case, we're glad to have Brian Lund here today. And I'll introduce him now, please. Brian, what are you going to be speaking about this Saturday?
Well, on Saturday, I'm going to be talking about the city of Nottingham, where I live, and its most famous resident, Robin Hood. Now, I know that Robin Hood didn't actually exist in real life, but he's still with us in all sorts of ways, especially postcards. So I'm going to give you a tour of Nottingham and a little bit of the background of Robin Hood.
Oh, how wonderful. And I understand you brought along a special postcard of something else to show us about now.
Well, I know that normally the presenter here on this program normally shows one or two postcards related to the presentation that he or she is going to make the following Saturday. But I decided not to divulge any secrets or any plot twists or any spoilers about what I'm doing at the weekend. And so I've chosen a postcard that is not even from Nottingham. It's from it features a place called Bristol, which is in the southwest of England, about 130 miles away from us. And I think it's an absolutely splendid postcard because of the way that it is actually composed. It's got a dozen different images on this that have been blended in a kind of Photoshop way to make a postcard. And this was done by a firm from Barnsley in Yorkshire, which is 100 miles north of me, called Warner Gothard, who kind of specialized in these montage postcards. Sometimes they were royal visits, sometimes they were railway accidents, mining disasters, or any other commemorative celebration that was going on. Warner Gothard specialized in these postcards and hardly produced anything else at all. But each one is an absolute gem, an absolute work of art. Now, this one here features as its central image King Edward VII and Queen Alexandra, who were making a visit to Bristol on July the 9th, 1908, to open a new dock there. I chose the card featuring Edward VII because he's always seemed to me to be the epitome of what was called the golden age of postcards in Britain between around 1900 to 1914. And he was King of England for most of that time. And so I wanted to display one featuring him. Now, what interests me about the card especially is the way that it's actually been made up. Gothards have obviously got hold of a dozen different images, probably from local photographers, and they've arranged them in such a way that they could photograph them to make a commemorative postcard of. I mean, it is quite striking how they've artistically woven a lot of different things, pictures of the dock, the Avonmouth dock, which was being opened, pictures of local worthies who were at the commemoration, including the Lord Mayor of Bristol and the Lady Mayoress, the manager of the dock itself, and local councillors. And I really think this is a work of art in itself. Now, postcards published by Warner Gothard have become incredibly popular in the UK, and they generally sell for three figures. That's £100 plus, or $150 per card, unless it's one of the more common ones. The record price for a Gothard postcard is so far £590, which was for the silver wedding of a Duke and Duchess. But like this one, it was made up of a montage of relevant pictures. Gothards did the same with, as I said, with mining disasters, which involved them finding photographs of the miners who died in the incident. One of them featured 168 different pictures of fatalities. And it's always intrigued me that they could spend so much time on preparing a single postcard. And I wonder how economic it was for them. But given the fact that between 1905 and 1916, they produced over 100 of these, I guess they must have been doing something right. But
sounds like it. It's just a wonderful series that they, you talked about the mining disasters and so forth, and what a great series. It reminds me of poster type cards, or we call them multi-image, but ours, I don't think hold a candle to the depth and everything that this one does that you're showing. This is outstanding.
Do you know, I started collecting these at one time, and I had over 50. And for some crazy reason, I then sold most of them off. And I've only got maybe half a dozen now myself.
Wow.
But I just think they're sensational.
Yeah. How many
so do lots of other people.
How many different ones are known from this series? Do you remember?
It's about 110. About 110 altogether.
Oh, what a nice something to know about and to learn about. That's great.
Yeah. And with some of the events, 4 or 5 different postcards were published of the same event. For example, a royal visit to Leeds in Northern England, where you can get different cards. And I just think it's one of the fascinating things about postcards, that you can come across a series like this and home in on it. And they are very, very difficult to find.
What is what would you call them? I mean, it's the publisher that, is it, who is the publisher?
Right, the publisher, Warner Gothard, was a family firm from Barnsley in South Yorkshire.
Tell us again, Brian, please, the name of it.
Warner Gothard.
Warner, what card?
Gothard. Gothard, Gothard.
Oh, very good. Thank you. Thank you. Warner Gothard. I've never heard of these. They're just wonderful, really interesting.
I guess they're as unfamiliar to collectors in America as the enlarged vegetable series that that were featured in a recent talk by Ray Hahn.
That's right. That's true.
Which we don't get on this side of the Atlantic, and you won't see these on this side of the Atlantic either.
Well, it's just neat to, like you say, it's the international collecting of postcards, but we have different things in different places.
Yeah.
This is just incredible to have this Zoom meeting here today with not only in Kansas, but clear in central England. And we thank you so much for being here, Brian, and look forward to seeing you this Saturday. Thank you very much.
I shall be there.
Very good. Bye-bye.